Here I am, sitting outside of St. Bartholomew Church in Dublin, across the street from my hotel, more or less. A gorgeous, gorgeous windy day in Dublin. Sunny, cool, like an early autumn day in Carolina. And I just said goodbye to Leanne after 4 incredible nights, 4 incredible days. And it's a bittersweet farewell, I have to say. It, we both know we just decided to, you know, cut it, 100% cut it, because to stay in touch is pointless, and we both know that. So we won't be friends on Facebook, and we won't talk anymore. It sounds extreme, maybe, but I think it's important because we really did have an amazing connection. And, no doubt about it, I could fall hard for that girl if I had time and if I was in the state of mind that I was able to completely fall for somebody new, which I'm really not. You know, I don't want to completely fall in love again just yet. It was a great heart exercise, though. It was a great opening. It was a great journey together, and we laughed a lot and hugged a lot and kissed a lot and played a lot and ate a lot and drank a lot and just lived it up together for our time. And I wish it could be like that more often. I was kind of thinking about maybe starting a business like the 4-day date business. I'm always thinking about starting some business, but no, I think there's, hear that wind? I'm telling you what, if you guys could feel this wind on your face, you'd have no reason to want to die. I can't believe just a couple of months ago I was seriously contemplating ending my life. Through those dark times, you just got to hang on. You just got to hang on. It's like this great shirt that I saw the other day. It said, "Bring to life whatever it is that keeps you living." And that's my goal for myself and for anybody else who might struggle with depression and hopelessness and lostness in life and not wanting to wake up. It's a sad way to live. It's a sad way to live. And if we can just think about having this day, like this day. It's kind of like when you get sober. I got sober for 9 months. At the beginning of November 2014 until August 2014. And it didn't last forever because I'd never really accepted the concept of one day at a time. But if you look at everything as just this day, what do you have to do next? Do you have to do the dishes? Do you have to pay a bill? Whatever you have to do, if you do anything, what you need to do is just get up, go outside, take some deep breaths, walk around, notice something pretty, notice something outside of your own pity party depression. It's just a dangerous, toxic place to be. And, it's just no wonder that my ex-wife couldn't take it anymore. It had been long enough. And nothing she could do could help me help myself. Nothing she could say helped. We got to take responsibility for our own happiness and our own life. And if you're miserable, change it. If you're not happy with something, change it. You're not a tree. That's something a wise young girl told me once upon a time. And it's hilarious, and it's also true. So I hope that I can keep my head up moving forward as I get back to reality. And I've tried so hard not to think about what's next in my life because I just wanted to enjoy every day alone on this adventure. And I did very much enjoy it. All the people I met, the places I got to see, the ungodly beauty, or godly beauty, more like it. Um, you know, the world is just gigantic and it has so much to offer. Every day does, and it's so easy to take our little realities for granted. And it's so easy to just close yourself off. And I think what's important is to just show up, pay attention, tell the truth, and let go of attachment to outcome. It's really all we got to do, you know? It's not that complicated, but sometimes it seems like it would be easier to build the Great Wall of China than to smile and appreciate a moment and a day and everything that we get in this life that's been given to us, It's all just a gift. Even children, even the children. The children are not ours to own or keep. We only get to borrow them for a short time. And this newfound awakening and perspective for me in life, I am certain will help me be an even better mom. I'm a pretty good mom, but there's always room for improvement. And God, I just want my kids to be happy. That's all I want, I come from a large, crazy family chocked full of love and lust and passion and addiction and mental illness and suffering and great joy and highs, 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 and low, deep, dark lows. And I just wanted to have kids that were just happy, middle of the bell curve kids, Like, if watching a stupid mainstream television show fills you up and makes you happy, go for it. There's something to be said for steadiness. And for a simple life. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be anything other than something that you enjoy every day. And if you're miserable and you're not happy and you're living in a fearful, stressed out place, then you know what? It's just time to make a change. I don't know why that's so difficult and complicated, but it is. In the darkest pits of depression, it is impossible. It feels impossible. It feels like it's never going to end. It feels like you're just in that Groundhog Day of despair every day. And what makes it worse is I beat myself up about it all the time, Like, I should be happy. Look what I've got. Look what I've got. But I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the happiness. And getting back to the sobriety thing, I think it's time. I think alcohol and pot, and any other things that we put in our bodies to alter our moods, they do get in the way. They get in the way of being able to just enjoy life because they're a big part of the highs and the lows, and we wonder why we can't get out of it. You can't dump a depressive substance in your body every night and expect not to be depressed. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a false numbing of the pain. It doesn't change. It doesn't fix. And you wake up the next day and you're like, here I go again. Guess gotta wait until 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 o'clock at night to have another drink. And that's what I'm living for. And that sucks. That's a bullshit way to live, guys. It's false. It's absolutely false. It is nice to be numbed out and it's nice to slow down my brain. But there are natural ways of living and appreciating life to do that. So, anyway, it was August 4th, 2014 when I decided not to be sober anymore after 9 months of sobriety and feeling like, even 9 months of sobriety really didn't change my happiness level all too much. Yes, I was a better wife, and yes, I was a better mom, but I wasn't any happier. And I wasn't happier because the core of my unhappiness was not about being sober or not. It was about not being happy with my life and where I was and how I wanted my life to look and be. And moving forward, I'm really excited to get a little apartment. I've never in my life lived by myself, and it's something that I always regretted never doing. So I'll get to do that for the times that I don't have my kids, and when I do have my kids, I'll get to be the best mom I can be. And I'll get to keep a clean house and a simple house, and it won't be cluttered, and it will stay clean because that's not too much to ask for. And I like a clean, clear space. When my space is clean and clear, my mind has a lot easier time being clean and clear. So the irony is that I arrived back in the States on August 4th, 2015, 1 year after I decided not to be sober anymore. And I'm thinking about giving it a shot, but you know what? I'm not putting any pressure on myself. And on August 4th, tomorrow, I'll wake up and I will decide to be sober today. And that's all I got to do. And the trick is, if you want to go tie one on, I can do it tomorrow, But today, I'm going to be sober. And that's how you stay sober, And the more days of sobriety that you can string together, if you're a big ass drinker and you're having some issues in your life and you can't figure out what's going on and things cycle back to the same problems and it feels like there's no solution, just string together a few days of sobriety and then string together a few more and try it out. Give it a shot. Give it a chance. Give your mind a chance to de-thaw. Give your mind a chance to thaw out from being manipulated with bullshit chemicals, But what a time, what a journey. Leanne, we did have a few tears, I have to say. I couldn't help myself. I just couldn't help myself. I dig that girl. I almost said I love her. I don't think you can love someone in that short amount of time. Really love someone. Call me cynical, pessimistic. But I sure would have been on my way, boy. Woo! What a cool gal she is. What an amazing woman she is. Oh. So, we had a few tears. She asked me not to come to the bus stop, but to say goodbye in the hotel room because she didn't want to get all emotional at the bus stop. And so that's what I did. I said goodbye and I watched her leave the hotel room. And it's a strange thing to have that kind of connection with somebody on every possible level. And then to just know that, you might not even ever see them again as long as you live. Someone that you care about and that you have this amazing connection with and that is that awesome. It's like, wow, thanks for an incredible adventure, a whirlwind of a time, a falling. Thank you for that. It was amazing. And now enjoy the rest of your life. And maybe I'll see you in the next one. I mean, it's a tough pill to swallow. And so I decided, fuck that. I'm not staying in the hotel room. I'm going to walk down there to that bus stop and I'm going to kiss that girl one last time. And that's what I did. And I walked right up to her and kissed her. And then I stood there and we smiled and we held hands and we said goodbye. Properly in daylight and fresh air on a beautiful day. And I would call leaving that on a high note. I would call that leaving it on a high note instead of a dark and depressing note. because it's not depressing. It's great. Like I've said before, the last thing I want is another relationship. And quite frankly, if she lived where I live, I'd I'd have my work cut out for me. So, you know, but it wasn't long enough to be too distracting moving forward. I think I'm going to be fine. I think I'm going to always appreciate that time. She gave me this beautiful little, her rendition of a Van Gogh painting. And she, you know, on a canvas, on a little canvas around a wooden frame. And she wrote some sweet things on it. and And I'm glad that I'll have that. You know, I'll always have that. It's not even a picture. It's just something that I can have to remind me of her and to remind me of what's possible if we're just open for it. If we're just open to it, you know, what's possible. Anything's possible. Jim was right. He said, Kathleen, you can do anything. When you open yourself up to the intentions of the universe, you can do anything. And that's the truth. And we all can. We all can. We just got to break that merry-go-round of sick and mental thinking, you know? Break it, shake it up. Talk to some other depressed people too, because you know what? I did have the opportunity to talk to a couple other depressed people along my way. And that's great because suddenly you know, you can relate, you don't feel so alone. And then you're laughing at how ridiculous it is. You know? Yeah, I think probably the most helpful thing for me along my path of climbing out of that was truly talking to other people who completely understood what it's like to be so depressed you just don't want to live. And when you talk about it, and you can talk about it with somebody who understands, somebody who can join you there, then you realize just how silly it is. You know? It's that you're living in the place of darkness, not the place of gratitude. And even saying goodbye to Leanne, you know what? Yeah, it sucks. But I'm so grateful to know her. I'm so grateful for the incredible time we had together. You know, that's what counts. That's what matters. That will live on. You know, and it will always get to be that. It will always get to be this beautiful, lusting, lustful, sexy, wonderful time with an amazing person, and it never has to be broken with reality. And I think that's just amazing. I love it. I really love it. It was just what I needed for the times, you know. And now I get to board a plane tomorrow and fly into Durham. And my sweet little sister will pick me up at the airport. And I'll have to press go on the rest of my life. I got to sell my house. My ex and the kids have moved out in my absence. They've gotten their own place. I'm thrilled about it. It sure did sting a bit initially when I heard that, but it makes perfect sense. And I couldn't be happier about it now. You know, what a difference a day, a week, a month makes, really, on all healing. It just takes time. And so I'll go home and sell my house and try to find a job. Gotta find some kind of job here quick. I think I might wait tables just to have something to do. I think it's fun. I love people and all the characters of the world. Have a reason to get out of the house and go to a job, make some money for a little bit while I find a real, or not that waiting tables is a real job, but you know, I need to make more money than that. Come on, I've got 3 kids. But yeah, so I got the rest of my life waiting for me with a big old bow on it. And it doesn't have to be scary, and it doesn't have to be depressing. It's actually wonderful, and it's exciting. And I even think that my ex and I have a real good shot at being friends again. We did that part really well once upon a time. And we have a responsibility to our children to do it again. And we will. We will. We will. So, you know, life moves on. One hell of a ride, though. This has been one hell of a ride. I'll tell you what. All the money I spent and being away from the kids for 6 weeks and looking back on getting in that taxi out in front of my Aunt Muffy's house in Chicago. And I was scared and I just wanted to cry and I just wanted to shrivel up and disappear. And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I felt like a mad woman. And I can promise you this. I will never, as long as I live, regret a single dime I spent on this trip. And I'll never regret taking the journey. Because it woke me up. It really woke me up to everything that's possible. And even a grand adventure like this, you know what? The beauty is in the little things. It's in the little things. A tasty coffee, a laugh with a friend, a sweet hug of a kiddo, you know, a conversation with a mom, with a wonderful, amazing mom. My mom and I talk regularly. She's my best friend, really, on the planet. And this trip, we didn't have a whole lot of contact. And just because it's not easy, time zones and communication and all that is not real easy with Wi-Fi, yada, yada. But you know what? I'm so grateful she's here, and I'm so looking forward to getting home and appreciating her like I always have and always will. Because to have a rock like that on your side in this life is nothing short of a miracle. And that's what moms are for. And shit, if I can be half the mom that she has been to me, to my kids, life well lived. Life well lived. So on that note, I don't really know what else to say, y'all. I don't know if I'm ever going to produce this podcast. I don't know if it's something I'll archive for a rainy day when I'm an old lady, or if it's something I'll try and put together and share. I don't, I'm torn about opening myself up there and letting people know what a jackass I am. And what a struggle I've had. But it goes back to my intention originally. If somebody can benefit from it, or if it makes people smile or makes people take, or if it can help you, if it can help somebody out there listening who might think, oh, wow, Kathleen, I thought she had it all together and had this perfect life, and she was fucking dying inside just like I am. Then that's a reason enough to put it out there, and I need to remember that and let go of my own ego. I guess part of me wishes I was the type of person that did want to really learn about where I was and understand the history of where I stood on all of these amazing places along this path, but that's just not me, People are my life. People are what I'm about. Beauty, weather, nature. Some people are about art and architecture and history, and I'm about people and nature and being outside and enjoying, the characters of people all around me. And I've met some great ones on this trip. And I talked to a few. You've heard from a few. And that's my journey. So I'll get around to reading a world history book one day, I'm sure. Maybe not. I wouldn't bank on it. Don't bet on it. But it's possible. It's possible. I might just dive into the land of intellectualism. I've dated a couple intellectuals along the way. They're a special breed. You're a special breed. You know who you are, you intellectuals of the world. And to you, I will sound like a complete moron. But maybe there's people like me that just kind of float around in the world, and it's so nice to be just blown from one place to another, wherever the wind takes you. Wow. What a treat. At 37, are you kidding me? Shoot. My whole problem is I felt like my life ended when I graduated from college. And I never quite got over that. That's pathetic, is what that is. That's pathetic. That means you better go find yourself. You better figure out what makes your clock tick and go do it. So I'll stop preaching, but it'll be interesting to see if anything comes of this, or if it's just you know, a wonderful document that maybe someday my kids can listen to and benefit from in some way, and know that their mom had some juice and she had some fire, and she went out and, you know, took a journey. And I never could have done it if I didn't have an amazing ex-wife. And I never could have done it if my kids didn't have a second mommy who is just as amazing and just as courageous and just as wonderful in her own ways, in her own right. Because if she weren't able to be with them, I never could have done it. So, you know, I'll love that lady forever. It's just how it goes. You don't spend 14 years with somebody and not love them forever. I think we all know that, if we don't know anything else. So, away we go. Keep on waking up, getting up, smiling. Treat yourself well. Treat yourself like you would treat your friends. And stop beating yourself up. And, you know, if you're feeling like a depressed piece of shit, message me. Feel free to send me a message. And I will empathize with where you are. And I will give you a line or two back of hope. Because it does get better. It does get better. You just got to keep on hanging on. And most importantly, you got to do something different. Because what do they say the definition of an insanity is? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. That is depression. That's what it looks like. You can't do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results. You got to do something different. It's not rocket science, but it sure feels like it sometimes. It sure does. So here we go, off to the land of the reality, the forests of North Carolina. I may have to move closer to the beach. I really might have to do that. And since I'm going to be single for the rest of my life, yes, I am. Sorry, ladies. Sorry, ladies. I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. I'm not interested in all that drama. Now, these distant affairs are fantastic. Perfect. Those, yeah, you can sign me up for a few more tours on the distant foreign love front for sure. But real relationships in real life, no thanks. Nope. Not interested. Because the thing is, I don't want to date any locals, and I don't want to date any foreigners, and I don't want to date anybody who has kids, and I don't want to date anybody who hasn't had kids. And that doesn't leave me with a whole lot of options. Because the bottom line is I don't want to date anybody. You know? Have some fun, yeah. Have a little sex, sure. Real relationships, real commitment, merging families, having to navigate holidays and all that shit. No thanks. You can have that. You guys can keep on doing your relationships. Keep on after it. Stay after it. Go for it. Stay in them until you die. Not for me. Not for me. And if anybody ever catches me living with another human being again that's an adult lover, will you slap me across the face? Come over, ring my door. Come on over, ring my doorbell, and slap the shit out of my face. Okay? If you could do that for me, I'd appreciate it. I really would. We got to know better. We got to live and learn, not recreate unnecessary drama. Okay? All right. Love to all. Be well. We'll see what happens. I may decide to open this show up and hear from you guys and have. Really, my vision, my ideal vision is to have the first part of this show be kind of my journey of awakening and spilling it and being honest. And you know what? In this show, I curse a lot and I tell the truth. That's the bottom line. I curse a lot and I tell the truth. And it's kind of how I am anyway, really, in life. And I would like to hear your stories. I want to know what helped you wake up or what's keeping you down. And I don't want anybody else I know killing themselves. That's what I don't want. I don't want anybody that I know to off themselves because they didn't know how to get out of it. Enough of that. Enough of that. We've all been there. We all have dark times. And most of us, if we're being honest, have probably thought about offing ourselves a time or two. Some of us thought about it a lot more than others. But, you know, even that thought, as dark as it is I think, pretty typical. And you're not alone. And don't off yourself. Just, you know, hop on a train and go to the next town for a night. See something new. Eat something new. See a new street. See a new tree. Listen to some church bells. Love it. Live it up. We only get one shot. We only get one shot. That's all we got. Skydiving, unfortunately, never happened to date. And I called the place, and I just didn't plan far enough in advance, so I wasn't able to get in when I was in Seville. It's okay. Maybe my parachute wouldn't have opened, and then I wouldn't get to make this podcast, so we'll see. I'm not quite sure I have the same need to jump out of an airplane as I did a couple of weeks anyway. As I did a couple of weeks ago anyway, quite frankly. I'm doing just fine with my feet on the ground and my head up. So, be well.